This Sean Allard is the reason we're seeing what you're talking about, speed.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's it, nice.
All right, Viktor Arvidsson here on the show. It's exciting to be here with you, buddy, in your hometown of Skellefteå, Sweden. We've put a couple of really good days into work, and it's been great to work with you. And so thanks for doing this. Thanks for being part of it. It's been great. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about your past season. I mean, there's not too many times where you see a young player come in the league and score 30 goals and kind of take the league, catch the league by storm, and go to the Stanley Cup final and be a real productive member throughout the whole playoff run. And tell me a little bit about you and your game and how this 30-goal season came about, and was it something that kind of was building? Was it, did you get hot really fast, and did you build some confidence early in the season? What was did you train a little bit differently? And tell me what it was like to just kind of run through that season, and then obviously just the experience of going all the way to the finals and being and really pushing a really good Pittsburgh team. In that series was a great series.
Yeah, I just think like my season was a great season. I was on a roll almost the whole year, and I played with great players, and I feel like it kind of built out of the year before the playoffs when we played Anaheim and San Jose.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a great playoffs then. I didn't score a lot of points, but I was creating chances for my teammates and for myself, and I was playing good defensively and stuff like that. So I feel like that was the confidence I brought into last season, and I got really hot really fast. Like you said, I think I scored 8 goals in the first 15 or 16 games or something like that, and it was rolling, and I just tried to keep the same mindset during the whole season, and it worked out really good, and I feel like the team was doing a great job, and all my teammates were awesome during the whole year.
That's awesome. You talk about your teammates, and one of the things that I think that really comes to mind when you think of Viktor Arvidsson is you think of all obviously that line, and obviously with Ryan Johansson and Forsey and both so Flip and Joey and Arvy, they call it the Jofel line, I guess is what the nickname is now, and it's been so now that line wasn't together throughout the whole entire season last year, and so it was something that kind of got to put together maybe around the midpoint, or was it around that, or maybe a little earlier? Yeah.
We were struggling. The team was struggling in the beginning, and I feel like we got together like after 30 games or so, 25 maybe, and from there we didn't move from each other that much, maybe like 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, it was awesome. So tell me a little bit about what those two players bring to the table for you and how they complement you, and maybe just talk about how important that is, because it's just like opportunity you need to make your own opportunities as a player, but there's also that time when that hard work and that opportunity comes to fruition with other players, and tell me a little bit about Joey and Flip and how they really do a great job for you as a player and how they complement you as a player.
I feel like they're so much bigger than me, and they can play that physical game that maybe I don't play often, but I skate and try to retrieve pucks and create turnovers and stuff like that, and they hang on to pucks and just make plays. And Joe he's a great playmaker. He's one of the best in the league, I think, and he can really protect the puck and make that odd pass in tight situations. And Philip is a shooter. He can rip it from anywhere on the ice and put it top shelf from anywhere, and he really showed that this year and the year before, and he's really proven himself to be a continuous 30-goal scorer.
Absolutely, it's amazing how you look at a guy like Joey and how he can so creative, right? So creative, and a guy. And a guy like Forsey is so, like you said, what a shooter, and he can shoot through people.
Yep.
It's amazing how he can shoot through people, though, dusting pucks, and he gets it off. He's got that release that really surprises a lot of goalies. One of the things that I think that you talked about is that you bring to the table is your ability to skate and retrieve pucks and create turnovers. Tell me a little bit about your skating and some of the things that you're focusing on with your skating. And I mean, you're up there with the fastest guys in the league. The Larkins and McDavids and Haglunds and these names. Maybe Anastasiou. All these guys who can actually really wheel out there. You're certainly right up there with all those players, and maybe could be the fastest guy in the league. Tell me a little bit about your skating, what you did as a younger player to work on that, what you're currently doing to kind of continue to be on top, and how you just basically developed into really one of the most dynamic skaters in the world.
Yeah, it started here in Skellefteå. We had a great coach. That was a really good skater when he played, and he worked with us 93s a lot. We were skating every practice, basically working on it and trying to get better, and that's where it's kind of started. And then I got stronger and starting working out more, and my legs got bigger and stuff like that. That counted too.
Sure, absolutely.
But I just try to move my feet as quick as I can, and sometimes I probably do it a little too fast, so I go down, but I try to really use my edge to get some speed and glide, and then try to push off. So, but it's something that is there. It's not something like I think about when I'm on the ice. Almost like it's just there. It's there. I'm just in my
it's automatic.
In the back of my head. It's just there.
It's automatic. It's instinctual. The work's been done. You put it through, and then once you built that foundation, that technique, you added the strength.
Yeah, exactly.
And all the coordinative pieces kind of happened at a young age.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so important for young people is technique is really, really important to rep at a young age, and then as you get stronger, you build that frame, you build that and it's awesome. Hey, so tell me about your training. When you talked about training, and you did mention to me about your trainer here in Skellefteå. He does a great job. And when did you start really kind of focusing on that? Like at what age were you kind of focusing on that? When did that really become important to you or when was it the right time, I guess, for you as a smaller guy, maybe someone who was maturing a little bit later? You think of kids that are huge at 13 years old, and some of them go through puberty at an earlier age, and I don't know what that was like for you, but there's different time periods where athletes are really peak for their training, right? How did that happen for you, and when did that kind of start?
I think I was 19 years old. I played some games with the elite team here in Skellefteå, but the coaches and the staff didn't think I had that pop in me and that pop in my body that I could handle to play on that level, and they suggested I should play in the junior team one more year, and I just insisted, and I said I can do it. I'm gonna put my heart into this, and I got the chance to work out with the strength coach here in Skellefteå, and he's an awesome guy. He helps out a lot, and he helps out all of the NHL guys that are here today and he helps us get better every day, and he's a great guy, and he really put me on the right track and put me in the right direction to become who I am today.
It's amazing. So now, before the age of 19, were you kind of doing anything? Was the club doing anything that was like, maybe were you doing plyometrics? Were you doing different body weight exercises and maybe a little bit of weights, or really was it only until you turned 19 where you really said, okay, I really need to start really developing some musculature. I really need to get that power. I need to really do that. Is that kind of how it happened, or is it kind of gradual? Or
I think we were hitting weights before I was 19, in the juniors, but I was so I got lactate really quick.
Yes.
So that was the thing I need to work on. I could go fast, but I didn't have that that speed, like
the sustainability.
Yeah, the sustainability of the
you
speed.
built lactate quick. It's normal.
I got tired really quick.
Yeah.
That was the thing I needed to work on.
Sure.
And
which is an issue, right? With all explosive guys. You know, it's right. How do you how do you be so explosive without producing that lactate? It's really interesting. So what did you guys do a little bit? What were you doing to work on that?
A lot of intervals, like running and running in hills and stuff like that. And we were on the bike a lot, and we are today. And and so we do a little bit of CrossFit too sometimes. Just build up that lactate and try to
flush
keep it. Try to keep it away and try to really work to contain a high level of performance.
When you're riding the bike and doing those intervals, are you doing them you mentioned hills, are they a hard, really like heavy bike followed by a flush, or is it a heavy interval for 30 seconds, a minute or something like that, and then rest, or how does that typically work for you guys?
It's different. Like we have so in the beginning of the summer we worked longer to build up our stamina and stuff like that.
And then strength and stamina.
Then as the summer goes on, it becomes quicker and faster, and we're up on that max level of lactate and stuff like that. So but
cool.
We usually try to have as much weight on the bike as possible.
Wow. And your intervals are typically for 30 seconds, a minute, or
sometimes they could be 3 or 4 minutes in the beginning of the summer. And then in the end of the summer, they are 40 seconds, 30 seconds, and stuff like that. But then you have more rest. Because on that 30 or 40 seconds, you go at the max. Max. And then to build up as much lactate as you can handle.
And then at 19, you became really focused on building musculature, building the machine basically of the body. Is that kind of when that happened?
Yeah, like I decided that if I wanna become a pro hockey player, I gotta do this, and I gotta put some work in, and I try to work outside of the rink too, like by myself, go out for a run in the morning, or during after the workout, I just went out for a run to just try to do something extra, and I feel like that's character when no one watches.
Absolutely.
When you build up a character of yourself, and I feel like that's a really important thing.
I love it. So you talk about character and heart, and we get to spend some time with your family last night, and they're just amazing people. And tell me a little bit about that. And I want to connect the dots between like what you said when you made your commitment. You made that commitment to say, I want to be a pro. And you're 19, and you need to make, you need to move into a different training regime. You needed to make it, but you also had that like belief. And you believed that you could do it. And so you're like, hey, you told Skellefteå, hey, like, listen, like, I appreciate the offer to play on the junior team, but like, I think I can make the jump. And you believed in yourself, and that has something to do with character, and has something to do with heart. And so tell me about, you talked about the extras, and like what people don't see. I think that's so awesome, right? Because it's awesome. And meeting your dad and your mom last night, I could see that, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No.
It's like you were raised with that type of.
Yeah, I feel like I got a lot from my dad and from my family. But especially from my dad and his persistency. Like he never quits, and he never, if it's a problem at work, he solves it. And
even his company, I think it was called something Solutions, right?
Yeah, Arvidsson Solutions.
So he's a solution-based guy. Always tries to find an answer.
He always tries to find an answer, and he's a stubborn guy that, like I said, never gives up, and I feel like I've got it from him, and he also, when he does his thing, he does it with all his heart, and he wants to finish as fast as he can, and he really I think put it into me, and I'm pretty much the same in my thought process when I'm on the ice and when I'm in the gym or anything else. Like I just want to finish, and I want to do it as to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, it's amazing. Pierre Laviolette talked in the playoffs how he was asked a question, and he said he was asked a question about you, and he said he works for everything he gets.
Yep.
And so when you have a head coach that talks about you like that in the media and is giving you opportunity because of your play, what does that mean to you? And how does that make you feel as a player?
Great. It's you get confidence from that, and you, especially when it's from your head coach and from Lavi. He's a experienced head coach. He won a cup and he's a great coach. So it's a great feeling when people see what you do and see that you always try your best.
Hey, rewinding a little bit, and whenever let's talk about how you were a little bit of a late bloomer. I mean, you were always a real good player, smaller guy, and you got passed up on a couple of drafts. And tell us a story about how that kind of went down. And you shared it with me before, but it'd be fun, I think, for the listeners, the audience, to kind of hear it, because it's you're the type of guy when I hear your story, all I think of is hope. And I think of character, I think of heart, I think of all the things that really represents Viktor Arvidsson. And so yeah, tell us a little bit about how that was and the disappointment. But then disappointment, like if we tend to focus on disappointment, we can never seem to move ahead of it, move past it. But you didn't do that. You kept moving forward. So tell us a little bit about how that all went down and what made you so convicted that you just wanted to keep pushing.
No, like people around me, people that supported me through my whole career, and my agents, my family, my fiance, and everyone. It's been a long ride, but it's been short.
Yeah.
Like my NHL career has been really short so
Sure.
far. So.
Yeah.
But the way there was long, and it took a long time until I really got drafted and could move over and play there. So, but I got passed over in 2 drafts, and first draft I watched from round 1 to round 7.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
No breaks or anything. And the second year the same. I watched from round 1 to 7 again, and I still believe that I was able to get drafted, and
two, we talked about a little bit last night that you were on the radar as well. It wasn't like something like was out of a hat.
No,
people were talking about you and that you could potentially go and both
there
drafts.
Was scouts calling me during the summers
Wow.
and during the season. I talked to
Yeah.
scouts, and
Yeah.
I was up there, but
Yeah.
I was kind of on the side.
Sure.
I felt like, and but I still I felt like I could got picked.
Sure.
got picked, so
Yeah.
it was kind of that hope that was in me the whole time, and in my family and agents and fiance and everything. It was a long wait, and then the third year, I sat through the first round, the second round, and the third round, and then after the third round, I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. So
Sure.
I head over to my best buddy, and I was walking over there. It's like 100 meters over to his place, and as soon as I touch his doorknob, I get a text from my brother. You just got drafted. And I'm like, started laughing. I'm like, no chance, and like I didn't believe him. I'm like,
thought he was pulling a prank on you or something.
And then I open the door, and all my buddies just sitting there and celebrating like crazy, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, you just got drafted, and like, to where? And they said like Nashville Predators. I'm like, are you serious? And then it was a fun moment, and it was a great feeling, and I was very happy, and it was
Well, I mean, Nashville, obviously, we talk about the scout in Nashville who does a lot of the European stuff, and specifically in Sweden, is doing a great job. And you know, the other part of it too is that we talked a little bit, you know, before about how you've come full circle. So you know, you came into the league and you spent a year in Milwaukee. From Skellefteå, and Skellefteå kind of seemed to want to keep you a little bit that whole process, because they, you know, you mean so much to the community, and you're from around the area here, and you're such a good player, and you know, and then they finally basically decided that, you know, it was going to be a good opportunity for you. Tell us a little bit about that and your first year in the minors in Milwaukee and how that was.
They had a chance to get me back, and they wanted to have me here in Skellefteå for one more year, and that was the rules. That was how it was, and I really wanted to play in the States. I felt like that was my closest opportunity to reach the NHL, and we decided together that it was best for me to be over there, and I was really happy for that. That Skellefteå let me go, and I got to pursue my dream. And the first year in Milwaukee was an awesome year. The guys were great, and the coaches.
Dean Evison and Stan Drulia and all they do a great job.
Yeah, they were great.
Absolutely, they're awesome.
It was great to get in there, and
for sure.
They were welcoming me and all the other guys that we knew, and we had a great group, and we had fun, and the play on the ice kind of translated from that, and I learned a lot, and Scott Nickel learned me.
Scotty Nickel, absolutely.
He was a great guy to talk to when you had a problem, or you felt like you had a tough time on the ice or something like that. So but it was a great year, and I'm really happy I got to play that year in the States. So that was a big jump for me. And then the year after you make the team out of camp, or make the team out of camp and start off the season, and they tell you that they want to give you a little bit more playing time, and they send you down after, what is it, maybe 7, 8, 9 games or something like that? Around that 8 games, I think. I played the first 2 or 3 games, and I got scratched, and then I got sent down to Milwaukee to get more ice time and play games and work my way back.
So you know, this is. Do you think some of the experience that you had early in your career as being a smaller player, maybe getting passed up in the draft, maybe having maybe to reprove every single opportunity that you had, you know, because you're small, because of this, you know, do you think that experience of making the team out of camp was a big win, right? Because, you know, your second year kind of in North America, a big win. You know, they decide to send you down, but a lot of players, you know, they tend to sometimes get sent down, and they don't go down with the right attitude. No. But do you think all those experiences that you had kind of built that framework around you, built that armor around you to say, okay, hey, listen, I'm gonna push forward, I'm gonna fail forward. If they want me to do this is best for me. And how do you deal with that? And how do you think it was easy for you to transition? You go down to Milwaukee, you do a great job, and then sure enough, you're back up, and you finish the season in Nashville, play 50 games that year, right?
I just, every time I went down, I just felt like I know I play good down there, and in Milwaukee, I know I can really be one of the best players in that team, and I just try to stay as consistent as I could every game, every practice, every time I was at the rink, and in the gym or whatever. I was just, I'm gonna do the same thing every day, and I'm gonna prove to them and that I'm an NHL player. And when I went down, I had a great run that time I was in Milwaukee there for, I think it was 18 games, and I put up 17 points in 18 games, and I felt like that was kind of my statement that I should play in the NHL. I got called up and stayed the rest of the season in Nashville, and that was awesome. And
you told me something last night what Dean had said to you, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he said he never wanted to see me here again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so typical of Dino. He's such a great promoter of people, which I think is really cool about him. And ended up in Nashville and finished the season, and then you talked about that strong playoff run, right, where you played really well and you felt really good, and that's kind of what's built into last season's 30-goal season.
Yeah, I kind of drove from that playoff run we had, and I felt like I was contributing to the team to win games in that playoffs, and I was trying my best, and I was consistent as I've been down in Milwaukee and during the season too in Nashville that year. And then last year I got into camp, and I said to myself, I'm gonna be here the whole year, and I'm gonna grab a jersey at the beginning of the year, and I'm gonna keep it, and I got a place on the third line in the beginning, and with Mike Rivera and Craig Smith, we had great chemistry, and we scored a lot of points and goals in the beginning, and played really good.
Two speedsters on the wing.
And
Ribby who can dish pucks.
He's a great passer, and Smitty is a speedster too. Like he can skate.
Absolutely.
And we played great, but the team was struggling, and we tried different combinations, and I got with Phil and Joey, and that was like boom right away. Like we just found each other on the ice everywhere, and we scored a lot of goals, and played great defensively and everything, and the team was doing great, and every player on the team contributed.
It was really awesome, and that really set the tone for a really, really strong second half for Nashville. I mean, you guys drove that, and really drove that team, and really offensively especially. And then obviously, you had the great 4D back there that are always consistent and always doing a good job. But you talk about two things. So let's talk about the run to the playoffs, which is really special, and talk to us about what it felt like, how hard it was, because I think people don't really understand how hard it really is to get there. And you talk about the fun and the ups and downs of that playoff, but you also mentioned a lot just in our conversation today about consistency. And I think a lot of players, right from the youngest of minor hockey players that are playing competitive hockey to NHL players, whether it's an NHL pro or a European pro, whether it's someone in a job, being consistent is a tough thing to do. Where you're talking about, you showed up at the rink, you got sent down, people could have took that a player could have took that the wrong way, or if you didn't get a promotion at work, somebody could take that the wrong way, but you just maintain that consistency, and that's something that I think is a skill. And tell us how you do that. How do you do that? What do you do? Is it a focus? Is it a mindset? Do you have a routine? Is it just an attitude? What do you think really has helped you maintain consistency?
I think it's my compete level a lot. I don't wanna lose, and I don't wanna. If I go in the corner, I want to be the guy that with the puck that comes out with the puck, and
tenacity, that intensity,
and then like
dog on a bone.
And then basically that's what it is, and then I think I got it from my dad too a lot, like the stubbornness and the things like that, and always doing the work, and I have to do it too because of my size a little bit. I have to be moving my feet. I have to work hard, because if I don't work hard, I'm not a good player. I don't get to those chances, and I don't create those turnovers and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a lot of in my mindset, that I have to play this hard to be successful.
Really awesome stuff. And so what happens when, because people can work hard in life, and people can work hard on the ice, players can do a great job, and then sometimes it just seems to not go your way. And so there's periods of time in a season where you go 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8 games, maybe something doesn't feel, you're still working hard, you feel like you're bringing it, you feel like you're working. How do you go through that? What do you make changes? Do you just stay on the tread, you still on it, you believe in the way that you are, and you just keep going, and something's going to fall, something good's going to happen, and it kind of then just starts a wave of success. How do you deal with that?
I don't know, like when you get in those situations, funks, yeah, you usually think too much. Like you overthink things, and you just gotta trust your instincts.
Okay.
And just
you wipe it away.
Yeah, I feel like you just do as I always do. Just go back to the simple things. Skate. Hit,
pressure pucks,
and
get to loose pucks, shoot the puck.
Like simple,
get to the net,
and then it's gonna come. I don't feel like you shouldn't start in the wrong end. Like you shouldn't start with I'm gonna deke this guy or something like that. I feel like you start with the easy, and then it's gonna come.
You build from there.
Yeah, and then you get confident, and then you can make those moves or something like that.
So instead of complicating it, instead of actually trying to make a bunch of changes and say, oh, I got to start doing this, or this guy in the league is having a lot of success doing this, and so, you know, instead of adding something that's maybe not in your wheelhouse, just go back to the basics, go back to what made you successful.
Exactly. Yeah. Like for me, skate, shoot, hard work. Like that's usually what I go back to when I'm
and a little bit of a fun. That's so interesting. That's awesome. Okay, well this has been awesome. So now let's talk about the playoffs. I mean, must have been now and let's talk also about your experience winning championships, because in Skellefteå here, this has been a powerhouse club in the Swedish Elite League and the Elite Serien. It's been a power. You won 3 championships while you're here, or more? Two. Okay, and went to the finals in the other one, or or the run here has been you've won 2 and. Over the past 7 years?
8 years. They've been in the final for 6 years in a row.
Wow.
And before I got into the elite team, they had 3 finals.
Unreal.
3 final losses.
Wow.
And then I got up, and then we won 2 in a row. And then then a lot of guys left the team,
sign
and
NHL contracts.
Yeah, and KHL and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think it was 12 or 15 people that left the team.
Wow. So it was a whole kind of rebuild.
And then, but we had players coming underneath and stuff like that. So, but then they went to 2 finals, and then last year it was the quarters. I think
No stranger to success with Skellefteå winning championships. Won 2 championships while you were here. Tell me about these similarities and differences from the long playoff run that you guys had and pushed that really good Pittsburgh team to 6 games, and probably, you know, I mean, obviously I was there for all of them, and was there, after you guys won the second round, and I can't help but think of that Game 6, goal that was waved off, for it would have been the first goal of the game, and. But you guys played awesome, and certainly without Ryan and without Kevin Fiala, made it a lot tougher. But you guys gave it everything you got. Tell me a little bit about that run and maybe your experience winning championships and how that might have helped you or prepared you to be a good playoff performer.
Yeah, I feel like we had, like you said, a great run, and like our defensive play was on point. Pekka was unbelievable in that, and our D was doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
they were great and putting up points offensively. The D was and we, as a team, we were really good in the playoffs, and we found something to build on in the end of the season, and we just kept going and got better and better, and unfortunately we couldn't take it all away, but it was a great run and a great experience. I feel like for a lot of players and for the whole club and for the Nashville Predators and the fans in the city to see how it is to go to the Stanley Cup final, and it was a great experience, and I feel like now when you've been there, you just want to go back there.
Yeah, and even though it's such a grind, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you go through that long of a run? Like your body, like your mind, like your, how, is it?
Yeah, it's hard. It's almost 2 months of
every other day.
Hockey, yeah. And every game is so important. Like every shift.
It's a war.
Every second of every shift is so important. Like you never let off the gas, and work as hard as you can the whole time, and there's overtimes, and there's double overtimes, triple overtimes, and then you got to play the next day almost. And then, so it's hard, and you travel. Like we travel to Anaheim, 4-hour flight, and back and forth, and so it's tough on your body and your mind for sure. But
did you have to get into like a zone, did you have to get into a different zone, like with the regular season, the box is rigid and but there's a little bit of play you can get away with, maybe not quite looking after yourself here, or here, or you don't get quite to bed, or whatever. But in the playoffs, like, is it that much more just like
it's like sleep and eat, like that's the only thing you think about between games. Eat and sleep, and just get your rest, get your food in you, fluids, and that's what you have to focus on too.
And so how does your fiance deal with that? Moa is is that a big part of it? Trying to, there's the wives are so supportive, and
it's crazy how they handle it. I feel like they handle it so well, and especially Moa, she's they just know. They know what we want and what we want to achieve, and they support us, and they're there for us, and they know that we have to do it because
that's it.
We want to win so
that's
bad,
right.
and they want to win too.
Absolutely.
So it's
they're a big part of it.
Yeah, they're a big part of it.
Yeah, that's so cool. That is awesome. Well, listen, I think we kind of went around, full circle a little bit about your career and how you started, and and really feel like we really got to know you a little bit about what really is important to you, and your philosophies of life, and what's made you successful. And it's been a real pleasure, obviously, getting to know you, and obviously it's been a pleasure to start working with you over these last couple of years, and it's been really, really great. And I get to work with fellow speedsters. There's nothing better than that. So thanks again for everything. It's really cool to hang out with you and meet you, and
thank you,
and share with you, and appreciate all of you. Appreciate everything you're doing, man. And keep up the good work. You're awesome, man. All right, you're awesome.